What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations, 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner, 2018 Innovation Award winner given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. I also co-host and co-produce the only online show in the world for dads and fathers. It's sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care. And being part of that team in 2022 and 2021, reached out directly and indirectly to over 100,000 fathers around the world. So as always, I'd like to say you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. And I'm Blackalicious. So just want to say that because my two new friends, they liked when I said that. So I want to make sure I say that again. They're both smiling in the green room. So we're going to make that happen. So before we get anything going on, just a few quick things. If you're up to it, please subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit the notification button so you get notified of all the epic conversations I host and produce. Also, like the Dr. Vibe Show on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. So, how many people are cricket fans here? I am, for a long time and for a long reason. I'm going to bring something up to our two new friends on the platform on why I'm a big fan of cricket. But there's a big cricket rematch happening this weekend in the Greater Toronto area in Brampton. It's a rematch of the Jamaica versus Trinidad and Tobago, or TNT, as we like to say. And we have two special friends bringing on the platform today. So we're going to bring up Tracey Ramsubagh-Mannette, the Consul-General of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago in Toronto, and Lincoln Downer, Jamaica's Consul-General in Toronto. So let's bring them up, bring up their smiling faces, and they're going to talk a little bit about this epic event that's happening on Saturday in the Greater Toronto area in Brampton. Family, how are we this evening?
We're good.
Yeah, we're doing really good.
Very good. And they know each other real well, family. Like before we got started, it's like they're like family, just chatting. Yes. But I'm going to find out who's going to win the match by the end. So I don't want people to get cross, but I want to say thank you for taking the time to share with us today. And before we get into the details and the background of the match, just a little bit of your background. So Tracey, can you share a little bit of your background with our family here today?
Sure. Okay. So, well, you mentioned my name, Tracey Mannette. I'm the acting Consul-General of Trinidad and Tobago in Toronto. I have been a career diplomat for the past 16 years, and I've worked in a number of our portfolios at headquarters. That's the Ministry of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs of Trinidad and Tobago. So our Americas division, our Multilateral Relations division, which takes care of United Nations matters, Commonwealth matters, and also our Protocol division. I have served abroad twice. Toronto is my second posting. I also served in Brussels.
Wow.
And I have been, and I have been here since December 2020.
Fantastic. When you first came to Toronto, what was the weather like? Was it winter or spring, summer?
It was definitely winter. Winter was in full force. It was also still the pandemic. So when I arrived, the protocol was that you had to spend 14 days quarantined. So for those 14 days, I had the same view of this big pile of dirty snow. It wasn't very appealing, truly.
Did you get upset at your boss saying, "Why you bring me here"?
Not exactly, but I'm not sure that the weather. I paid too much attention to the weather aspect of things when I was told of my assignment.
Mm-hmm.
There were other things on our minds at that time, as CG Lincoln will mention soon, because he also arrived during the pandemic. And
Okay.
there were other priorities on our minds at the time.
Wow. Okay. Well, as a longtime Torontonian, we're happy to have you here, even if we get dirty snow. All right. So thank you so much for sharing a little bit about yourself. Lincoln, a little bit about your background.
Well, I'm Jamaican, born and bred in what we'd say in Jamaica in country. So I grew up in Port Maria, St. Mary. I have been in Jamaica's diplomatic service for over 25 years. Uh,
Wow.
been
And you're
posted.
only 28?
I know this year is my September 11th is the 28th year actually.
Congratulations.
Thank you. As we say, good coconut water, and I will use your term, blackalicious. Uh,
I may need to steal that one from you, my
I
brother.
know. So I've had three assignments. The first was in New York
Yeah.
between 1998 and 2001. The second was in London, 2008 to 2013, and then the third, August 2020, so in the middle of the pandemic
Mhm.
to date. So tomorrow will actually be 3 years exactly since I've been here. Unlike Tracy, I came at the in the middle of the summer slash fall, so
Yeah.
you had a bit of heat, but you felt the chill of the fall, and I too had to spend 14 days in quarantine. But in that time, I found ways to connect with my diaspora. In fact, before I headed out to work, somebody from the JCA actually found me on LinkedIn and sent me a note to say, Brethren, you need to join the JCA Walkathon virtual. So we didn't have any time to really sit back and do nothing. We were on the beat immediately.
Hmm. But I have just another question, and hopefully you'll have time to come back either separately and just share some of your journey. But what is the most gratifying thing with what each of you do? What brings you the most joy or some of the joys?
Ladies first, or do you want to?
Ladies first. Let's do
Okay.
ladies first.
For me, it's the simple things. It's not the grand things. I think the things that I'll remember are the moments that I was able to connect with and help people resolve long-standing issues. So that's what really stands out for me. I am sure that when all is said and done and my posting is over here, the activities that we did during our 60th anniversary of independence last year is going to
Yeah.
still be at the forefront of my mind because it was a wonderful program of
Mhm.
events. So those are the things that stand out. It's not the day to day. I'm not going to remember probably many of the social some of the social events or the normal stuff that happens in the course of doing things, but I do remember um, people that I've helped, and that's probably what's going to stand out for me.
Wonderful. Lincoln?
For me, it's the people to people connectivity, as I'd coin it. I will look forward to helping, but not only helping. It's about remembering the minutia. So, for instance, helping a pensioner. I've had the opportunity to visit a 104-year-old pensioner, a 92-year-old pensioner, and you really see
Oh,
the, the human nature. And these are the things that you don't really get an opportunity to put on the front stage. People see us, going to the dinners and all of that. But for me, it's the relationships, those conversations behind the scenes. And as I was sharing on another program on Saturday, in another post, it was my visits to detention centers and prisons, connecting with
wow.
those who in some cases are undone because of the system, but when it comes to a family being deported and just looking at what that impact on the family on the outside and the preparations to be put in place, or you go to the hospital to visit somebody who's sick, who needs a travel document, and you have to interview and all of that there, those things are not on the front page. And for me, generally, it's just feeling proud. As Tracy said, we had quite a bit, at least 27 events for in celebration of Jamaica's 60th anniversary of independence, and I'll always remember the illumination of Niagara Falls, and I did that with Tracy's help.
Okay.
So we are
Fantastic.
very close. We are very close.
Yes.
Um,
Yes. Well, that's
and this
fantastic.
is, yeah, so it doesn't matter what it is. I think, just to share, that I was working on a document last night, and I just sent it to Tracy. She flicked it to me this morning, and I said, hold on a minute. She finished my thoughts. and she knew
Wow.
exactly what needed to be said. So
Wow.
it comes back to that level of synergy that you find.
I love that word synergy and alignment.
Yes.
Synergy and alignment. That's really good. So wonderful to see that you work so well together like a yin and yang. That's fantastic. Before we go any further, this conversation is a collaboration between the Dr. Vibe Show and BuyBlacks.com. And if you haven't heard about BuyBlacks.com, you need to. Black Canada is #1 online magazine. Here's their contact information, website, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. So a big shout out to Roger and Camille Dundas, the leading driving forces of BuyBlacks.com, who asked if I could help them with this conversation. I am humbled and honored to. So, folks, check out buyblacks.com. Well, let's talk about a little cricket match that's happening on Saturday.
All right.
This is a big thing I've been hearing. So, we need to know, how did this collaboration come about?
Okay, so I'll start again, ladies first.
Yeah.
So as you recall, both Lincoln and I arrived during the COVID-19 pandemic around 2020. 2021, we started to emerge from the pandemic, but there was still a lot of shutdowns and going back into quarantine and back into, lots of remote work as well. And 2022 was the first big summer after the pandemic had sort of died down. And it also, of course, coincided with the 60th anniversary of independence for both of our countries. So we had started talking months in advance. And the idea came up of cricket. It wasn't really a novel idea. We had done a cricket match for our 55th anniversary. And it seemed like it would be a big win to have it done again in a grander way for our 60th. One was that there was this intensity and eagerness in both our communities to have something done, that was public, that everyone could access freely, where they could be outdoors, where so many people were not able to be outdoors and connect with each other again. And then, of course, it's the obvious draw that sport has for both of our countries and our diasporas. You know how excited Jamaicans get about sports. For example, CG Lincoln has already told me that during the match he is going to be watching the World Athletics. So
Yes, yes,
yes, I
that's
think it
going on.
starts.
Big, the women 4x100 meters, big Jamaica and US, big rematch.
So we knew that sport and would definitely bring people out. And there's a lot of symbolism surrounding cricket when it comes to independence, of course. Through the West Indies cricket team, we would have, had matches against, including our former colonizer, beaten them. Um, and and also, well, we have our individual cricket teams as well, and through the CPL, we play each other, and there's a lot of friendly rivalry. Um, so we wanted to play on that as well. So cricket.
There you go. Lincoln, would you want to add, like, who when you first thought about this idea, who approached the other first? Who was the person who said this would be a good idea?
I think it was both of us who had an idea of collaboration. So I actually went to the city of Brampton to meet with Patrick Brown and told him of potential plans for the 60th. And he said to me, bring the cricket match to Brampton. We'll find you a venue. So by the time I got to speak to Tracey, we were like, okay, we have a venue. We just had to find an organizer uh, and then get some sponsors. So it really was an easy process for us to really bring people in. And again, as we talk about the synergy and collaboration. So at the time we brought in George Maharaj and Wilbert Plummer, both of whom are serial cricketers, and it was just easy. So persons really just jumped in and collaborated. And I would say that what you see between us today is what always existed. And of course, nobody can beat a Jamaica Trinidad and Tobago rivalry.
Okay. So take us back to some memories of the first time this happened. What were some of the memories you were? Tracy, why are you doing that?
Well, there are lots of memories.
Well,
Some
share
good
some with
ones.
us.
So, well, we started off the match, of course. Always starts a bit ceremonially with the anthems. That always gets me a little bit, choked up hearing my anthem at any point in time. We had a ceremonial first bowling of the ball that was done by the mayor of Brampton, who popped into the event as well and stayed for a bit. And apart from the match, so the match started with TNT going to bat. And while the match was ongoing, there were a lot of things happening, keeping the crowd very entertained. We had a live DJ, we had steel pan music, a rhythm section, tassa drumming, which is Indian drumming as well. And then the sponsors were very active on the sidelines doing giveaways and outreach to the visitors at the event, giving away prizes, doing quizzes. So there was lots happening both on the pitch and off the pitch. And then the game ended a bit unexpectedly. I'll pass across to Lincoln to give his impressions of the ending.
In other words, rain, no play.
Yeah.
So there was a huge downpour in that section of Brampton, no other section of Brampton. And so we, had to end the match. But also, Tracy missed a good part, the food.
Oh,
So
yes.
there was jerk chicken, Grace Foods Canada had a booth. And then we had food as well from Journeys. There was doubles, Drew Patties, Fat Boy Coconut. And it was just good to see people from across the GTHA out in their colors, the red and black or the black, green, and gold. And, just the vibes on that particular day, I thought was awesome.
Nice, nice, nice. So as we come to this year's event, who are some of the players that are going to be participating?
So there's Austin Codrington, who plays for the Durham Cricket League, and Jeffrey Woolcock. And I think on Tracy's side, there's Richard Kelly. And
Yes.
I don't know if you know of any others.
I know some of the names, but Richard Kelly is our captain. And he will be joined by a very talented, his team members are very talented local cricketers who have experience back in the region as well as here. So it's going to be a very competitive match.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, Tracy, you sound like your team gonna win.
Well,
You just say it's going to be a very competitive match. The way you said that makes it sound like we got this.
yeah, I know. I mean, we had a running joke last year that the rain saved Jamaica from a whipping, but but CJ Lincoln would say the same thing, right? He would say the same thing. So, yeah, but it also, at the end of the day, it left us both able to leave the match,
with our dignity.
So I don't think either of us were too upset, but then there arose a clamor that we should have a rematch to have a final so that somebody would walk away with the bragging rights. So we'll see what happens.
Based on that, was it easy? Like a lot of times you wish for things, but they don't come, but people wanted a rematch. So was it easy to plan based on the experience you had from the first event?
Yes, I'd say so. We had a certain template in mind. There were things that we wanted to hone in on this time and expand, and I think we have achieved that. So this will be an event to remember, and Thank you for helping us get the word out there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. My pleasure. So I'll slip in my relationship with cricket because you told me to keep the door shut till we went live. Well, my younger brother is named Garfield Anthony after one of the greatest cricket players of all time,
Garfield
Garfield
Sobers.
Anthony Sobers. And
Right.
Mhm.
growing up, we actually had Sir Garfield Sobers have dinner at our home.
Really?
Wow. Amazing.
Yes. So my dad is a long-time cricket fan. I remember growing up, him listening on his Zenith shortwave radio with his little earpiece, listen to ball by ball coverage, and he still watches cricket religiously today. So I maybe I can coerce him and maybe come out on Saturday, see if he'd
Yes.
if he
Oh
enjoy.
yeah.
That'd be
Very
joyous for
nice.
him. That would be really good time. Have a question from the audience, and maybe one can answer. Cricket has been. Christopher says, cricket has been a sport I was exposed to as a young child. I really liked the sport back then and now. Curious, is Viv Richards still involved in the cricket arena from a sports ambassador role? Anyone know?
Hmm.
No.
Not off the top of
Okay.
my head.
Okay. No
Um,
problem. No problem. Just asking. Just asking the question. You did mention last year's sponsors. Who are some of the sponsors that are making this great event happen this Saturday?
Well, first there is a platinum sponsor, Grace Foods Canada, and then there are gold sponsors, Jamaica National Bank, Representative Office, Jamaica National Money Services, Moreland Development, Director from Jamaica, and then we also have silver sponsors, Drew Patties, Fat Boy Coconut, Jamaica Tourist Board, Victoria Mutual Building Society, Caribbean Airlines. Did I miss any?
Hmm. You got it covered because I got the flyer right here, and you got it down. It was like checking it off. Menton going, Lincoln's got it down pat. So Lincoln, let me ask you: did you play cricket at one time at all?
No, you know.
Oh, oh.
No, I just I was a fan, when you're young. So I love the one day cricket, but I mean with stalwarts, watching Mikey Holding, who I had the pleasure to meet in London and organize a cricket match for Jamaica 50th while I was stationed in London. Yeah, that
Wow.
was awesome. Yep. Yep.
For both of you, when the end of the event happens on Saturday, what do you want the audience to feel?
I would say the vibes and from them to take away just how as Caribbean nationals or culture would be highlighted. I want them to feel proud that they're Trinidadian or Jamaican, and we're also having with us our colleagues from the Caribbean Consul, of course. So it's almost like a family event. So there are at least 11 other Consuls-General who will be there,
Wow.
and again for the sponsors for them to meet and interact and have that direct connection with the patrons.
Tracey, you're on mute. Hold on. There we go. I think we got it. Go ahead.
okay. I was saying that I don't think anyone is going to walk away from that match truly unhappy, irrespective of the outcome on the scoreboard. Just because, as Lincoln mentioned, there are so many other things that visiting or attending this cricket rematch will bring to you in terms of your exposure to what Trinbagonian food is like, Jamaican food is like, what cult or cultural elements will be on display as well. And then you'll also have the chance to win some really great prizes and interact with the sponsors. So there are no losers on the day.
Excellent. Is there already talk even before we're coming to Saturday about doing it again next year?
No, not yet.
Okay. All right. Um, Let me test. Anyone think their team's going to beat the other one? Or are you just going, you're going to be nice and neutral, especially
No,
Tracey?
No, she's going to be competitive.
Yeah, between the hours of 1 p.m. and 5 p.m.
You're not friends.
We're not really friends. I mean, we're frenemies.
Okay. Oh, that's fantastic. Well, you know what? I just want to say thank you for both of you for taking time out of your positive, productive schedules to share with us, to tell us about this great event. Do you have any final words you'd like to share with our audience before we let you go?
Just to say that we're inviting all of you, Trinbagonians, Jamaicans, any persons from the Caribbean and outside the Caribbean that would like to have an authentic taste of Trinidad and Tobago and Jamaica and the wider Caribbean to come out to Brampton, Andrew McCandless Park from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. and it's going to be a great occasion.
Fantastic. Any last words from our Jamaican man?
Come out in your colors.
I was trying to say stay neutral, Lincoln.
And I'd also like to say, thank you to our valued sponsors who have supported this event again. And it shows the strength of the connections of both consulates with the private sector community and the wider community.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, I always say again, thank you to both. As I always say to all the friends that come on the platform, remember to give yourselves grace and don't just manage your time, manage your energy. And the mic is open if either one of you want to come back on and share about what's going on in your country, what's going on with yourselves.
Thank you, Dr. Vibe.
Thank you.
Pleasure's mine. Take care, be well, and keep the faith. All right. And there we go. There we go here. So, family, great conversation. Loved it. We didn't get any predictions. I know you were all wanting predictions. That didn't happen. Sorry to disappoint you. But again, have it here at the bottom of the screen. It's happening August 19th, Saturday. Like the startup gets around 12. The match starts at 1 p.m., but I think they're going to open up the gates at 12 noon for people to come in. So please support, please support. So as always, we just want to close up on a few things here. So let's just, as always, if you want, you can watch replays of the Dr. Vibe show on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Also on my website, the drvibeshow.com. Also, too, please subscribe to the Dr. Vibe show on YouTube and hit the notification button so you get notified. And also like the Dr. Vibe show on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. And if you want to touch base with me, website, I've already given you, email address, dr.vibeshow.com. That's also the address if you want to promote, advertise your business, product, and service on our platform. YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, The Dr. Vibe Show. Twitter, at drvibeshow. And finally, Instagram, at the drvibeshow.com. Like all the end of my conversations, I end them off it like this. Live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get smaller to get stronger. Block assumptions. Then aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. Remember to give yourselves grace and don't just manage your time, manage your energy. And again, another big shout out to buyblacks.com for helping make this conversation happen. The #1 Black Canadian online magazine. Check them out, subscribe, support. As we say, God bless, peace be well, keep the faith, and walk good.
Listen.